Unmasking Malevolence, a Stoic guide to recognizing and responding to evil people. The unseen threat. Have you ever been caught in the gaze of another? A subtle tremor of unease rippling through your senses, a silent alarm signaling that something is profoundly amiss? It's a feeling that defies easy explanation, a sense that beneath the surface of polite smiles and carefully constructed facades, a darker current flows. We, as humans, are inherently social creatures, drawn to connection and predisposed to trust. We crave belonging, seek out companionship, and build our lives on the foundation of shared experiences and mutual reliance. Hope, that resilient flame within us, fuels our belief in the inherent goodness of others, coloring our perception of the world with optimism and expectation. But as the ancient Stoics understood, wisdom demands a measured vigilance, a clear-eyed perspective that acknowledges the shadows alongside the light. Not everyone walks the same virtuous path. Some choose deception over honesty, manipulation over fairness, cruelty over kindness. And if we are not careful, such people can bring chaos into our lives. This essay delves into the complex and often uncomfortable reality of encountering malevolence in our daily lives. It is not an exercise in paranoia or fear-mongering. Rather, it is a practical guide, informed by the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, to help you recognize, understand, and effectively respond to those individuals whose actions and intentions are driven by something other than virtue. The aim is not to instill suspicion in every interaction, but to cultivate a discerning awareness that protects you from unnecessary suffering and empowers you to navigate the world with greater resilience and inner peace. The Stoics, masters of self-governance and keen observers of human nature, offered profound insights into the dynamics of interpersonal relationships and the challenges of living in a world filled with diverse characters. They recognized that while we cannot control the actions of others, we retain absolute control over our own responses. This principle forms the bedrock of Stoic philosophy and provides a powerful framework for dealing with difficult and even malevolent individuals. Seneca, the Roman statesman and Stoic philosopher, warned of those who carry poison beneath their words, highlighting the insidious nature of hidden malice. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and philosopher, reminded us to expect treachery, but not be shaken by it, emphasizing the importance of mental fortitude in the face of adversity. These teachings offer a timeless guide to navigating the complexities of human interaction and safeguarding our inner peace from external threats. The truth, often obscured by our desire to see the best in others, is that malevolence does not always present itself as an open threat. It rarely announces its arrival with fanfare or displays its true colors from the outset. Instead, it often disguises itself behind a veil of charm, false concern, or even a familiar face. Perhaps you've encountered someone who drains your energy with relentless negativity, who subtly twists your words to undermine your confidence, who seems to derive a perverse delight in seeing you struggle. Perhaps it is an outsider, a fleeting presence in your life. Or perhaps, more disturbingly, it is someone within your own home, your own circle, your own family, someone you are bound to by ties of blood or obligation. That is why it is crucial to recognize the signs, not to succumb to fear or hatred, but to act with wisdom and discernment. In this exploration, we will dissect 8 unmistakable signs that you are dealing with an evil person, someone whose presence disrupts your peace and whose influence must be handled with clarity and strength. Understanding these signs will equip you with the tools to protect yourself from unnecessary suffering, to set healthy boundaries, and to cultivate relationships based on genuine respect and mutual benefit. The goal is not to demonize or condemn, but to empower you with the knowledge to make informed choices and to navigate the complexities of human interaction with greater confidence and resilience. So, join me as we delve into the subtle but significant indicators of malevolence, drawing upon the wisdom of the Stoics to illuminate the path toward a more virtuous and peaceful existence. And if you value wisdom, Take a moment to reflect on the importance of this knowledge and consider sharing it with others, helping to bring more insight to those who need it. 1. Pleasure in others' pain, the dark satisfaction. There is something deeply unsettling about a person who finds joy in the suffering of others. This statement cuts to the heart of a particularly disturbing aspect of human behavior: the capacity for deriving pleasure from the misfortune of others. It's a trait that flies in the face of empathy, compassion, and all the virtues that underpin a harmonious society. The Stoics, in their relentless pursuit of virtue, placed immense emphasis on wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These four cardinal virtues served as guiding principles, shaping their actions and informing their relationships with others. Yet those who take pleasure in others' pain embody the opposite of these values. They represent a stark deviation from the virtuous path, a descent into the shadows where empathy is replaced by indifference, and compassion is supplanted by a chilling sense of satisfaction in the face of another's adversity. This behavior is more than mere insensitivity. It reveals a fundamental flaw in character, a deep-seated lack of empathy, and a willingness to derive personal gratification from the pain of others. This kind of person thrives on destruction. Such individuals do not merely witness suffering. They actively enjoy it, sometimes even orchestrating it for their own twisted pleasure. Consider, for example, a workplace scenario. Imagine a coworker who sees you overwhelmed with tasks, struggling to meet deadlines, and visibly stressed. A virtuous person would offer assistance, providing support and helping to alleviate the burden. But the individual who delights in others' pain reacts differently. They offer no help, no words of encouragement. Worse, they watch with a subtle smirk, observing your struggles with a sense of satisfaction. They may even subtly sabotage your efforts, adding to your workload or withholding crucial information, all while maintaining an air of innocent detachment. Or perhaps you have a so-called friend who, instead of offering support when you confide in them about a personal problem, turns your vulnerabilities into a source of amusement. They may minimize your concerns, make light of your struggles, or even share your confidences with others, all for the sake of a fleeting moment of laughter at your expense. Such individuals do not merely witness suffering. They encourage it. They stir conflicts, spread rumors, and create chaos, not out of necessity, but because it feeds something dark within them. Seneca warned us to be wary of those who laugh at wounds they do not feel, because such people are not just indifferent to suffering, they encourage it. They stir conflicts, spread rumors, and create chaos, not out of necessity, but because it feeds something dark within them. They might act innocent, but their pattern is clear. They manipulate situations, whisper lies, and watch as those around them crumble, all while pretending to be uninvolved. This behavior can manifest in subtle ways, making it difficult to identify at first. It might be a barely perceptible smirk, a carefully chosen word designed to wound, or a passive-aggressive remark disguised as concern. But the underlying motivation remains the same, a desire to derive pleasure from the pain of others. It's important to recognize that this behavior is not simply a personality quirk or a harmless eccentricity. It is a sign of a deeply flawed character, a person who lacks the fundamental capacity for empathy and compassion. Engaging with such individuals can be emotionally draining and even psychologically damaging. The wise do not allow themselves to be entangled in such toxicity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Surrounding yourself with those who take joy in suffering will slowly poison your own mind and spirit, eroding your capacity for empathy and distorting your perception of the world. The solution is not anger, not retaliation, but distance. Recognize the signs, guard your peace, and choose wisely whom you allow into your life. Set clear boundaries, limit your interactions, and prioritize your own well-being. Do not attempt to change them or to appeal to their sense of compassion, as this is likely to be a futile effort. Instead, focus on protecting yourself and cultivating relationships with those who embody the virtues of empathy, kindness, and compassion. Remember, your inner peace is a precious resource, and it is your responsibility to safeguard it from those who would seek to diminish it. The deliberate enjoyment of another's pain is a red flag, signaling a character profoundly incompatible with a virtuous and fulfilling life. 2. The need to control your life. The puppet master's grip. A truly evil person is not content with living their own life. They must dominate the lives of others. This observation speaks to the core of a controlling personality, a deep-seated need to exert influence and power over the decisions, actions, and even the thoughts of those around them. Their need for control is insatiable, not born from wisdom or responsibility, but from insecurity and a hunger for power. The Stoics, in their pursuit of inner peace and self-mastery, emphasize the importance of autonomy and the ability to govern one's own thoughts and actions. They believe that true freedom lies in the ability to make reasoned choices, free from the influence of external pressures or the desires of others. The Stoics teach us that the only thing we truly own is our mind, our choices, and our ability to respond to the world with reason. Yet, there are those who seek to strip this autonomy from us, imposing their will in ways both subtle and oppressive. Control can wear many disguises. It may be the overbearing boss who micromanages every detail, not to improve the work, but to assert dominance. Or the friend who dictates where you go, who you see, and what you do, never asking, only demanding. It may even come from someone closer, a partner who insists on knowing your every move, not out of love, but out of the fear of losing control over you. This desire for control can manifest in a variety of ways, ranging from subtle manipulation to overt coercion. It can be disguised as concern, protection, or even love, making it difficult to recognize at first. But the underlying motivation remains the same: a desire to exert power over another person and to dictate the terms of their existence. Consider, for example, the micromanaging boss who insists on overseeing every aspect of your work, scrutinizing your every move, and providing constant, often unnecessary, feedback. This behavior may seem like a sign of dedication or attention to detail, but it can also be a manifestation of a deep-seated need to control and dominate. The boss may be insecure about their own abilities or fear that you will outperform them, leading them to exert excessive control over your work to maintain their position of power. Or consider the friend who constantly tries to dictate your social life, insisting on choosing the restaurants, movies, or activities you engage in together. This behavior may seem harmless, but it can also be a sign of a desire to control your choices and to limit your exposure to other people or experiences that they deem undesirable. They may be insecure about your independence or fear that you will find someone else who is more interesting or appealing, leading them to exert control over your social life to maintain their position of influence. Even more insidious is the controlling partner who insists on knowing your whereabouts at all times, demanding access to your phone, email, and social media accounts. This behavior is often disguised as love or concern, but it is actually a manifestation of deep-seated insecurity and a desire to exert absolute control over your life. They may be jealous, possessive, or fear that you will leave them, leading them to exert control over your movements and communications to prevent you from forming relationships with others. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned that those who crave power over others are often the weakest themselves. A truly strong person has no need to control those around them. They rule only themselves, but those consumed by this obsession will resort to manipulation, emotional blackmail, and even deceit to keep you under their influence. They will create rules disguised as concern, twist situations to their advantage, and slowly erode your independence until you find yourself living by their will instead of your own. These controlling behaviors can have a devastating impact on the victim, eroding their self-esteem, undermining their confidence, and ultimately stripping them of their autonomy. Over time, the victim may become so accustomed to being controlled that they lose sight of their own desires and aspirations, becoming little more than a puppet in the hands of their manipulator. To recognize this is the first step to reclaiming your freedom. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacles these people place before you are not walls. They're tests, opportunities to assert your strength, to set boundaries, and to step away from those who wish to control your life. Choose freedom over submission, wisdom over fear, and never surrender your autonomy to those unworthy of it. 3. A strange feeling when you're around them. Trusting your gut. Sometimes the body knows what the mind has yet to understand. This intuitive knowing, often dismissed as mere gut feeling, can be a powerful indicator that you are in the presence of a harmful person. It's a subtle but significant signal, a whisper from your subconscious that something is not right. One of the clearest signs that you are in the presence of a harmful person is an unshakable sense of unease. You may feel drained, restless, or inexplicably uncomfortable when they are near. The Stoics believed in trusting reason above emotion, but they also understood that our instincts, sharpened by experience, often perceive truths that logic has not yet articulated. Our bodies, finely tuned instruments of perception, are constantly gathering information from our surroundings, processing data that may not reach our conscious awareness. This information can manifest as a physical sensation, a feeling of tension, anxiety, or discomfort in the presence of someone who is harmful or untrustworthy. Picture this. You're at a family gathering, surrounded by laughter and warmth. Yet, there is one person whose presence seems to shift the atmosphere. Nothing obvious happens, no harsh words, no direct conflict. Yet, something feels off. You tense up. You find yourself avoiding eye contact, shortening conversations, eager to step away. Their energy weighs on you, even in silence. This is not paranoia, it is perception. Or consider a coworker who, though outwardly polite, leaves you feeling exhausted every time they approach you. You can't pinpoint a specific offense, but your spirit recognizes something your conscious mind cannot yet name. Perhaps it's the way they speak, the way they look at others, the subtle way they manipulate situations. These sensations are not to be ignored. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If someone's presence leaves your thoughts clouded with anxiety and doubt, they may be a negative force in your life. Evil is not always loud. It does not always arrive with a dramatic act of betrayal or a clear declaration of malice. Often, it is quiet, insidious, a slow erosion of peace. The wise do not dismiss their intuition. They observe, they analyze, and they act accordingly. Pay attention to how people make you feel. If someone consistently leaves you feeling disturbed or diminished, take it as a sign. Protect your energy, set boundaries, and prioritize your inner peace. 4. Lack of responsibility, the blame game. A person's true character is revealed not in their successes, but in how they respond to their own failures. This sentiment underscores the importance of accountability in assessing an individual's integrity and moral compass. It is easy to celebrate successes, to bask in the glow of accomplishment, but it is in the face of adversity, in the aftermath of mistakes, that true character shines through. Evil individuals refuse to take responsibility for their actions. When things go wrong, they do not reflect, they do not learn, they blame. They shift the burden onto others, twist the narrative to paint themselves as the victim, and avoid accountability at all costs. This pattern of behavior is not simply a matter of personal weakness or occasional lapse in judgment. It is a deeply ingrained character trait that reveals a fundamental lack of integrity. Imagine a coworker who makes a critical mistake on a project. Instead of admitting their fault, they deflect, pointing fingers at you or the rest of the team. The workplace becomes tense, poisoned by deception. Or consider a friend who constantly finds themselves in trouble, never because of their own poor choices, but always because of external forces. If they're late, it was traffic. If they fail, it was someone else's sabotage. If their life is in chaos, they refuse to see their own role in it. These people do more than avoid blame. They make you carry it. They manipulate situations so that somehow you find yourself apologizing for their mistakes. They create an emotional fog where guilt is misplaced, and you begin to question yourself. The Stoics taught that self-awareness is the foundation of wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Recognizing these patterns is essential. A person who never takes responsibility will drag you into a cycle of guilt, frustration, and manipulation. Do not let their lack of integrity become your burden. Set boundaries, stand firm, and walk away if necessary. Your peace is worth protecting. 5. A habit of lying, the erosion of trust. To live with integrity is to value truth, for truth is the foundation of trust. This statement highlights the critical role that honesty plays in building and maintaining meaningful relationships. Trust, the bedrock of human connection, is eroded when truth is compromised. But evil people do not seek trust. They seek control, advantage, and deception. Lying is not just a tool for them, it is a habit, a way of life. They do not merely lie when necessary. They lie compulsively, sometimes for personal gain, sometimes simply for amusement. The Stoics warned against such people. For a person without truth is a person without virtue. Imagine a coworker who constantly exaggerates their achievements, fabricating stories to gain recognition. Their deception is not always grand. It may be small distortions, slight manipulations of reality to serve their ego. Or consider a friend who assures you they couldn't attend your event because they were sick, only for you to later find out they were out enjoying themselves elsewhere. These lies may seem minor, but they reveal a deeper truth. Such a person doesn't respect you, nor do they value honesty. The real danger, however, lies in the manipulative nature of their deceit. Some people lie not just to cover their mistakes, but to control those around them. A partner who deceives you about their feelings to keep you emotionally bound. A colleague who spreads misinformation to create conflicts and watch the chaos unfold. A so-called friend who plants falsehoods in others' minds to turn them against you. These actions are not accidental. They are intentional, designed to shape reality in a way that serves only them. Seneca once said, "Falsehood is so easy, truth so difficult." A person who lies repeatedly, even about trivial matters, is revealing a fundamental aspect of their character. Small lies become bigger lies, and over time they erode the very trust that holds relationships together. When you recognize this pattern in someone, take a step back. Ask yourself, can I truly rely on this person? Can I build anything meaningful with someone who does not value the truth? If the answer is no, then let them go. The wise do not entangle themselves with those who twist reality for their own gain. Guard your mind, guard your trust, and walk away from deceit without hesitation. 6. Absence of remorse, the heart of darkness. A person's true nature is revealed not in their mistakes, but in their response to them. This idea emphasizes the importance of remorse, the ability to feel guilt and regret for wrongdoing, as a key indicator of moral character. We all err. This is the nature of being human. But what separates the virtuous from the corrupt is the ability to feel remorse, to recognize when we've harmed others, and to seek to make it right. An evil person, however, feels no such guilt. They do not reflect, they do not apologize, they justify, manipulate, and deflect. This absence of remorse is a chilling sign, a signal that someone is fundamentally incapable of empathy and compassion. Imagine a colleague who takes credit for your hard work. When confronted, they do not apologize. Instead, they twist the situation, suggesting that you would not have succeeded without them or that they were merely helping you gain recognition. There is no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, only excuses. Or picture a friend who regularly makes cruel, cutting remarks. When you finally speak up, hoping for understanding, they laugh, roll their eyes, and dismiss you as too sensitive. They do not seek to understand. They seek to make you question your own feelings. This is more than arrogance. It is a profound lack of empathy. The Stoics understood that a person who does not feel remorse is dangerous, not just to others but to themselves. Seneca warned that those who abandon conscience will eventually be consumed by their own corruption. Yet, in the short term, they thrive by manipulating those around them. They master the art of flipping the script. When confronted, they become the victim. If you express hurt, they accuse you of being dramatic. If you call out their wrongdoing, they act as if you were the one in the wrong. The danger in engaging with such people is that over time, their tactics wear you down. You begin to doubt yourself, to hesitate before standing up for your own dignity. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The absence of remorse is a warning sign, a signal that someone is not capable of true connection or trust. Recognizing this is the first step to protecting yourself. Those who do not feel guilt for harming others will continue to do so, knowing there are no consequences. Do not allow yourself to be drawn into their web of manipulation. Set clear boundaries and, if necessary, walk away. Your peace of mind is worth far more than the illusion of a relationship with someone incapable of genuine remorse. 7. Cruelty, the unmasked face of malevolence. Some forms of evil are subtle, hidden beneath deception and manipulation. Others, however, are displayed openly, raw, aggressive, and unashamed. This distinction highlights the spectrum of malevolent behavior, ranging from covert manipulation to overt cruelty. While subtle forms of evil can be insidious and difficult to detect, open cruelty is unmistakable in its intent and impact. Cruel people do not hide their nature. They take pleasure in causing pain. They insult, ridicule, and humiliate without remorse. The Stoics taught that a person who lacks empathy is not only a danger to others, but also lost within themselves, consumed by their own destructive nature. Think of a coworker who never misses a chance to belittle others in meetings. They do not offer constructive feedback, but seize every opportunity to humiliate, pointing out mistakes with a cruel smirk, undermining colleagues to boost their own fragile ego. Their presence does not inspire excellence. It poisons the environment, creating tension and fear. Or consider a so-called friend who mocks your insecurities, disguising their cruelty as humor. They take something you once shared in confidence and turn it into a joke. And when you show discomfort, they laugh harder, relishing in your pain. This is not just insensitivity, it is intentional harm. A cruel person does not accidentally hurt others. They enjoy it. They use words as weapons, tearing down confidence, eroding self-worth. In some cases, their cruelty extends beyond words, manifesting in physical aggression. A partner who constantly insults or physically harms you is demonstrating open malice, seeking to dominate through fear and pain. Their actions reveal a complete disregard for human dignity, a fundamental lack of the virtues that define a just person. Seneca warned, "The soul that lacks virtue is like a body without a guiding force. It stumbles blindly into destruction." Those who engage in cruelty have abandoned reason, acting only on base impulses. They harm because they can, because it gives them power, because it feeds their own emptiness. Recognizing cruelty for what it is, an unmistakable sign of a dangerous character, is essential. No one should tolerate deliberate harm, whether verbal, emotional, or physical. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control how we respond. The wise do not entertain cruelty. They set boundaries, protect their peace, and walk away from those who thrive on suffering. If you find yourself in the presence of cruelty, do not endure it in silence. Distance yourself, seek support, and remember, no relationship, no job, no situation is worth the destruction of your own well-being. Choose wisdom over fear, and never let the malice of others define your sense of worth. 8. Warnings from friends and family. The external perspective. Sometimes the clearest sign that you are dealing with a dangerous person does not come from your own perception, but from the voices of those who care about you. This insight highlights the value of external perspectives, particularly those of trusted friends and family members, in assessing the character of others. It can be difficult to maintain objectivity when emotionally invested in a relationship, making it crucial to heed the concerns of those who have your best interests at heart. Friends and family, those who have stood by you, who have no reason to deceive you, may see what you cannot. The Stoics remind us that wisdom is not only in what we see, but also in what we hear from those who observe with a more objective perspective. When we are blinded by infatuation, hope, or desire to see the best in others, those closest to us can provide a much-needed dose of reality. Imagine you start dating someone new. At first, everything seems perfect. Affectionate words, grand gestures, deep conversations. But soon, your closest friends and family begin to express concern. They mention that this person has a history of manipulation, that they have seen them mistreat others, or that something about their behavior seems disingenuous. It's tempting to ignore these warnings, to believe that this time it is different, but the truth is, patterns rarely change. The way a person has treated others is often the way they will eventually treat you. Or consider a new job where colleagues quickly warn you about a particular supervisor. They tell you how this person regularly takes out their frustrations on subordinates, creates an oppressive environment, and never takes responsibility for their own mistakes. At first, this supervisor may seem pleasant to you, even helpful, but the people who have been there before you have already seen the reality behind a mask. These are not mere complaints or gossip. They're insights gained from painful experience. Ignoring them could mean walking blindly into unnecessary hardship. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. I seek the truth, which never yet did anyone damage." Similarly, the truth behind a toxic person, no matter how inconvenient, is something we must be willing to face. Your friends and family have nothing to gain by deceiving you. Their warnings come from concern, not malice. If multiple people are raising red flags about the same person, it is not a coincidence. It is a sign to be cautious. It is easy to dismiss concerns when things are going well. Perhaps this person treats you kindly now, making you feel special, valued, but the Stoics warn us not to judge merely by the present moment. We must look at the broader patterns of human behavior. If someone has a history of dishonesty, manipulation, cruelty, or irresponsibility, those traits will inevitably surface again. You must ask yourself, am I seeing this person for who they truly are? Or am I seeing only what I want to believe? To be wise is to observe carefully. Listen to those who have your best interests at heart. If a person's character has raised enough concern that multiple people have spoken up, take a step back and evaluate objectively. Do not wait for harm to come to you before recognizing the signs. As Epictetus said, caution should be exercised in all things, but most of all in our associations. Trust the wisdom of those who care for you, and protect yourself before it is too late. Cultivating virtue and protecting your peace. Evil often hides in plain sight, masked by charm, deception, and manipulation. But wisdom gives us the power to see clearly, to discern the true nature of those around us, and to protect ourselves from harm. The 8 signs explored in this essay: pleasure in others' pain, the need to control your life, a strange feeling when you're around them, lack of responsibility, a habit of lying, absence of remorse, cruelty, and warnings from friends and family, are not definitive proof of malevolence, but they are red flags that should prompt careful observation and cautious action. The Stoics provide a powerful framework for responding to difficult and even malevolent individuals. By focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses, we can maintain our inner peace and avoid being drawn into the chaos and negativity that surrounds us. This involves, if you've noticed other warning signs of a bad person that weren't mentioned here, share them in the comments. Sharing our experiences and insights can help others to recognize and respond to malevolence in their own lives. And if you've made it this far, let's affirm something important. Good always triumphs over evil. Type it in the comments as a reminder to yourself and to others. By choosing virtue, protecting our peace, and standing up for what is right, we can contribute to a more just and compassionate world. If these insights resonated with you, take a moment to like this video. It helps bring wisdom to those who need it. And if you value clarity, strength, and the pursuit of truth, consider subscribing so we can continue learning together. Stay vigilant, stay wise, and remember, the more we understand human nature, the stronger we become. Until next time, choose virtue, protect your peace, and keep growing in wisdom.